Pregame.TV, we're back. We're going to take a look at UCLA in Houston, and this is Bryan Leonard's best bet. Bryan, we're going to jump right to you. This is your best bet. Tell us who you like and the main reason, and we're going to dissect this game.
All right, well, I'm going to take the underdog here with Houston. As with my beautiful play on the Cincinnati Bengals last Monday night, we are going to wait on this. This is a late game. This game is going off late at night. It's one of the late games, and Joe Public will not be playing Houston in this game. It's a situation where UCLA is coming off of that supposedly huge win over Nebraska last week. I've got a few reasons why Houston's a little bit overrated right now.
Well,
you mean UCLA?
UCLA is a little bit overrated.
Well, we got to, definitely it's a horrible spot for UCLA, as you said, with the upset of Nebraska, and you still got to deem it as an upset. New coaching regime, Jim Mora comes in there, changes the attitude of UCLA. Neuheisel out, which should have been out a long time ago. But the one thing that I looked at that just causes me a little bit of pause, I agree with you. This is the spot for Houston, though, but it is revenge for UCLA. They did lose to Houston last year, 38-34. So normally when you'd say bad spot, and they got a conference game next week, it's a perfect sandwich game, but how much do they look at losing to Houston last year?
I'd be concerned if UCLA was one of those teams that only loses 2-3 games a season. UCLA hasn't been good for a very long time. Houston's a program. The first week they lose to Texas State. Laughingstock. People didn't know where to put the line. We've talked about this. Last week against Louisiana Tech. Louisiana Tech, I happen to think, is a very good team with an excellent coach. And they struggled all game long. I mean, they went back and forth all the time. In fact, you take a look at the stats. Houston, as good as quarterbacks as they've had since they've got into basically the run and shoot over there, they've had great quarterbacks there. They went the full game. I think he threw 77 passes, something in that range. No interceptions. The first time ever this has happened. The most passes in a game without an interception in history. So they've got a young team. I think they're coming on now, and because of what happened in week 1, people are looking at that and they said, I don't want any part of Houston.
Any thoughts from you, VR?
I agree with Bryan. I mean, if you look at UCLA, half their schedule is a revenge spot. So,
this is true.
And it's not as if it's a Pac-10 team, that they've been playing for years. Like it's a USC, it's a rivalry game for them. Houston's not a rival of theirs. And let's not forget, last year's Houston was with Case Keenum. So they were a team you get up for. This year's Houston, it's not a version of them you're really going to get up for. And I did my overvalued, undervalued list today, and Houston made the top 5 undervalued because of the fact nobody's looking to back them right now. I mean, when you lose a stud quarterback like Case Keenum and you're a team like Houston, it's different if you're a top-tier team and you're going to replace a quarterback and build another top draft choice. In Houston, you're not going to replace Case Keenum regardless of who steps in. So I think Houston's undervalued here. This is a bad spot for UCLA. For me, it's take the points or pass.
It's one of those situations with Houston that the public's going to look at that first game, and it's going to take them weeks to get that out of their minds. And that's the thing we always talk about is, my saying is no team's ever as bad as their worst game, or are they as good as their best game. But the public, they're like elephants. They don't forget.
Especially when they think there's a fundamental reason for it. You have no quarterback. You don't have Case Keenum. You don't have a Heisman hopeful anymore. So they think there's a reason why they're so bad.
Well, we've talked it all out. Let's make it official. Bryan, this is your video best bet. Give us your final point and give us the official play.
I'll be playing Houston plus the points. Bet it late. We'll get more points out of this. Keep in mind, last week, UCLA hosted Nebraska, a Big Ten team traveling west. Did not work out well for them. Did not work out well for Wisconsin. Did not work out for Illinois. I think we got an overvalued UCLA team right here.
All right, there you have it. Bryan Leonard's best bet. That's going to wrap up the first video of the weekend. We're going to be back, more college action. We've got some big games. We'll be right back here on Pregame.TV.
I like that spot.